Watson, not here. Anna Murphy.
Here.
Callie West, not here. Sean Henry.
Here.
Carrie Weason, not here. Michael Brennan.
Here.
Audrey Roth, here. Carl Ayers.
Here.
Keith Noel.
Here.
Approval of the minutes from the May 7th meeting. Did everyone get a chance to look at those? Any changes or additions? Nothing? Can I get a motion to approve? Can she motion?
Probably not.
Probably not, huh? I don't know.
She's not a.
Yeah, she's not a, she's a non-member.
Because you're the liaison.
Sean, your second.
I second.
All right, next thing is public comment for non-discussion items, which tour recap is the discussion item. Your discussion item is trails, or is it about?
Trails in the Heritage Ridge subdivision.
You're welcome to come up.
Okay.
Randy sent me something ahead of time.
Okay.
Randy's on our, are you still on tree advisory?
Yep. Yeah, secretary for second term. So do I control it here
I got it right here.
or, okay, that'll be better.
Let me go to start one.
You might note your agenda has Wednesday, May 7th still on it, so I don't know if you make that part of the public record, but.
Oh, boy. I can change that.
I have it changed on the minutes.
Thank you.
I did
There you
notice
go.
that. I didn't
Thank
tell
you.
you.
Okay, so my name is Randy Neese. My address is 903 Canyonland Street, which is the first filing of Heritage Ridge subdivision. So we had a total of 7 filings there so far. So it's been a patchwork quilt of everything going together. I guess I should start my 3-minute clock. Anyway. So I'm a member of the Landscape and Maintenance Committee for Heritage Ridge as well. So we do have a board since it's a metro district. So I'm here somewhat representing them, but I got to make some recommendations to them about what might be talked about or decided tonight. And they'll have their board meeting next week. So the thing I'm here to ask about tonight is the South Trail and the East Trail that border our property. So I don't know how many of you have been on those trails, but if you look at the map, so that green circle is Hillsdale Park. So I started there and just kind of did a walking tour of the entire path. It's a total of 1.1 miles from that point all the way up to the end where it joins Spartan. So Keith, if you want to just go ahead and kind of, 5 seconds apiece, walk through it. So that's the entrance from the Hillsdale Park. That's the intersection with the trail that goes north and joins up to Kansas. That's where 5th Street crosses into the Wilson Farm.
We were just there, to be honest. We did a tour before this and
Uh-huh.
we had just stopped there, so.
Okay.
um,
That's at the end of the paved trail where it joins into that road that goes through the Wilson Farm. And then you take a hard left and the road is to the right, but the trail that was developed is that one that you see there in the center of the picture. So it is a gravel base course, or it's not a pea gravel, it's the finer material that's used for trails. So that is the intersection where the corner of Lowry Lane and Mount Rainier meets up. And then there at 7, that's where the road separates, and that's where the old road goes over the top of the railroad tracks. It's been closed off. So the trail starts to get a little skinny at that point, going around trees. That is where it joins from our last filing to filing number 7, which was a townhome construction. So there was a space in between there that was taken over by, I'm trying to remember the name of the contractor, Black Timber or something like that. So they had ownership of the trail from that point on, and that's where it's usually kind of muddy when it gets raining. So that's one of the points of concern that I have. And then that, number 9, is the end of their, no, it's not the end, it's the midpoint. So if you look up a little distance there, you can see some brickwork. So they actually put walls on either side of the trail and had the trail pass through there. Normally you'd be able to drive a pickup truck all the way from one end to the other, but a golf cart can make it through there. Go ahead to the next one. This is the area of concern I've got most, is the trail starts to narrow down. The weeds get pretty bad in the summertime when they start to encroach on the trail to the point where you can't walk down the trail without getting thistles in your legs if you're bare-legged. And then up to the end, the join to Spartan. And that's where I've had Keith send me the drawings for where the Spartan extension is supposed to tie into that trail. But the real concern I've got is that our management sees it as a secondary concern. And it seems like if there was a way to get those 2 trail sections adopted by the town trail or the Parks Committee or the Parks Department, where they would take care of it for the weeds and mowing a beauty band alongside at the very minimum, then we would retain ownership of everything outside of that. And I just wanted to propose that to see if that was going to be a possibility. And if it is, what might our next actions be going forward? If there had to be a intergovernmental agency agreement put in place so that we define those responsibilities, or if this is just completely off the board. So, and I know this is a one way I usually just comment. You usually don't comment back, but I can stay up here if we're gonna change that and you wanna ask questions.
You're welcome to. It's
Do you have
Yeah.
any background, Keith?
the background,
Or have any discussions already been had, or what's the?
just with me and Randy, and
Okay.
the town stance on these is usually we don't take these over, and there's development agreements that kind of hold. When these developments were put in place, they said they would take care of the trails, and that's part of the agreement. So yeah, we don't take these over. There's not been any that we've ever taken over that weren't part of that differs from what the agreement said. So like I said, Rose Farm's a different case because the agreement says the town will take those over. So it's not something we've ever done. It's I don't really have the next steps for it. Again, it can be discussed at a board meeting maybe.
Well,
As
that was
agenda.
gonna be probably the
Yeah.
next step, so after I present it to our board, then I may have to bring it to the Board of Trustees to see if they wanna change the
Yeah,
policy.
I mean, as Keith said, it's not, the town doesn't take over the trails because the HOAs and metros are supposed to take care of them. However, as you said, if you're going to the next metro board meeting, I would say a next step, I don't know if this is correct or not, right? But a next step would be to have the voice of the metro board approach the town so that there's obvious, I guess, organized official communication. But beyond that, sir, I don't really know what the policy would be. It would be kind of, it would have to be a conversation between the board and staff, and then staff and the town board to see if that's even something that's possible because of the agreement.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I think because of the changing of hands and all the different filings, that agreement's kind of fallen by the wayside. It's not in the forefront of their mind, so when I present to our board a proposal for fixing that portion of the trail, it's usually the last, or it doesn't even make it to the agenda for discussion or for budgeting. So
Do you
that's the
know-
frustration, is I'm trying to find a way that I can get that trail up to snuff. And right now, it's not. I'm just worried about the liability of someone taking the tumble on that trail, and where does that liability lie?
Do you know if there were any official official guidelines or official designs when it was cleared as that trail system to be installed, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I can't give you advice, right? But if you or the neighbors think that the trail is not being kept up to the standards that were written in the agreement, that might be another way to approach the situation. I'm trying to be
Yeah,
careful and not
I'm
give
trying
you
to think
advice.
where that agreement might be, and would I have to go back to the planning documents to see that that was where that was agreed to? Because it's not in our covenants, or any of the regulations that we have for the neighborhood,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it'll be in the planning documents and the platting and the design documents for when the final plat was cleared, I believe.
Okay,
Because it'll be, the designs and the requirements for the trails will be part of that finalized design documentation.
okay, so I know what my next step is before I go to the board meeting, so,
and
thank you.
Ann Johnson is the one, that could probably help you find those documents.
Okay.
What does
Um,
this sign say? Sorry, I'm just curious. Does that say Parks Department on it?
Yeah, this is Spartan Avenue, the dead end of it. So up here is, the Nielsen Greenway, and then there's, Crusher Fines. This portion the town takes care of, that leads to, the Heritage Ridge portion right here. Yeah, so that sign's up here, so we put that in years ago, that just said it's a temporary connection at this point.
Okay, so it's only accounting for that sign forward.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was
Just the
hoping to
width of
get
the road.
that sign applied to all the trail.
That's what I'm curious about was.
So just for clarity, trying to follow this. So the issue is this little section that is supposed to be managed by right now a contractor? Is that what you said? Or what is this? What
We
is-
have a
Or is it
property.
the metro?
Yeah,
Can
we
you help
have
me
a
with-
property manager that, because it's a metro district, they're the ones that receive the funds, I guess, from the state when they pull it in as the mill levy, the tax collection. And then they work with our board of directors for the metro district to approve payments, to approve projects, to make sure that we're within the budget. And so between the two of those are the folks that I'm having to try to convince to put money towards projects like this. So, and because it's landscaping and it's maintenance, there's a lot of other things that they say take precedence over this. And so until I get it in their headlights, they're just not gonna see the importance of doing this, so. Just trying to look for other ways to put pressure on them, so.
Mhm.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
On to discussion items.
Yep, so just for the tour, I kinda got some feedback that we should look into promoting this a little more, so I've got that comment. If there's any other general comments, we love what you're doing, keep doing it, things like that. I think everyone's kind of supportive of what's going on and what was shown, and kind of keep passing that comment along. Any other ideas pop up along that south trail corridor as we were out there? That's kind of the fun stuff. Have we hit it right? So I know one of the changes that we did, I'm going back to the Northern Front Range Metropolitan Organization, kind of has, we have a trail map with them that kind of involves all the other towns around here and priorities they have. And I think we tried to tell them we're not gonna go past, we're not gonna take the Little Thompson any further. Like, we're trying to say, hey, we're going up Dry Creek next. We're not gonna keep taking Little Thompson south. That's probably a more realistic path for us. And we just made those changes like last year with them. Yeah,
And then going east.
all the way
All the
to,
way to Turion,
yep,
basically. Okay,
yeah.
quite a reach.
And there's coordination with Johnstown.
Yeah.
Because that would be who meets with us over there too.
Very exciting.
And when these new CDOT improvements going in, there's supposed to be room underneath them for us to have the trail corridor too, so. Yep,
Nice.
all those are talked about.
I think, as I said on the tour, I think it's great. I think it should be more visible to the public so they can see all of these great things that are happening and trail connections and getting land, open space that we can have as in a community that's a huge complaint is developing every square inch. And so people can see that we're not developing every square inch and we're trying to save what we can and do those things. I think putting all that out there is gonna be, I think people in the town will really appreciate it.
Yeah, I agreed. I agree big time. And Johnstown's a good contrast, you know, to Berthoud as far as approach goes. So
Yeah. It's just, yeah, showing that you guys are being very mindful of
yeah,
open spaces and trying to save these agriculture, not only agricultural, but also natural areas that the town will benefit from 100 years from now, so.
Thank you. I'll pass that. It's really, you know, I'm not taking any credit. Chris is really taking this on, and you know, these landowners are coming to us too, and we're reaching out to them. So
And I appreciate too the landowners wanting that, because I can only imagine that they might be able to sell for more if they're selling to a developer. I don't know how that works,
oh,
but
no, absolutely.
they're doing it for the future of the town too, so. Appreciate that.
One point that we also talked about was just appreciation, I guess, for the speed at which this is happening. I think a lot of people were not expecting this to be going so quickly, so that's another
Shocked.
thing
I'm shocked.
that I
Yeah.
think everyone's really excited about is just how quickly this is all coming together, and that's kudos to Chris and the board members for making it a priority.
Any comments about the tour?
Yes, covered it well.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Well done as
Yeah.
always.
tour down. Let's do it.
One more year.
It's a 5-star rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we give you a 5-star review?
Maybe does the Bats have a review site?
Probably Google reviews, I'm sure. On to staff updates.
2 meetings, future meetings. So the Arboretum meeting, the joint meeting that was sent out the 16th at 6:30, not mandatory, but I'm blanking. Was Callie the only one who's has told me she can make it so far? Is anyone else able to make that or want to make that?
I can't as of now. I think I told you, but it could change. So I will let you know if I can do last minute addition.
I think there was an error. It was at 6:30, not 6. I think I stayed at 6 o'clock because.
Mine says
Randy
6:30.
knows, does tree advisory start at
5:30.
5:30? Okay. Yep, so I think we're now at 6:30.
Mine says 6:30.
Was anyone able to make it?
Pickleball.
You didn't have to tell the truth.
I'm part of the Berthoud Rec Center pickleball
Yeah.
at 6:30. Are we gonna be able to, we'll see.
We'll see what happens with babysitting. If I'm not babysitting, I'll go.
Or just bailed.
I think we'll have one representative and then,
I mean, I can do, I will be done by like 7. I don't know how late it'll go. I can come over from there.
I mean, if it starts at 6:30, we're bringing Tyler from Wink in to present it all
Okay.
again, so.
Let me see, I may be able to move, I may be able to move some things around. So let me see if I can do that.
Has anything changed, I guess, based on what we, since
Nope.
we last saw? Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I've had, I think, 1 meeting since our port meeting, and we got a little more detail about the, the drainage, the creek feature
Yeah.
trying to be made to move some water from the pond. Still kind of in the early stages of that. I mean, they've shown like a very long stretch, and it just seems like the water's gonna evaporate by the time it even gets back to, like, you're gonna lose a lot of water through evaporation, so.
Yeah.
Maybe that's gonna shorten up as they're really dialing in the numbers on it, so.
Cool.
Yeah, all the changes with that pond not being an irrigation pond now, and, yeah, those are the fun things we're trying to work through. I would expect, I'm kind of getting into the next meeting now. The last few years, July, we haven't done the meeting because of July 3rd. So we can continue that tradition. It's on the 2nd this year. So I don't have anything real pressing to take yet, so. If everyone wants to take July 2nd off, we can do that.
I'll be out of town that week.
I think that's probably fair. You probably have a lot of things going on getting ready for July 3rd too, so the town's gonna be.
That's true. That is that is a real town event,
Yeah.
that we're more involved in. For the day, that's the chamber planning most of it out, everything of it out, and then just working with us on how we can help, so.
And with the extra meeting for the Arboretum, with some of us attending that and then not having anything super pressing, I think that's.
Mhm.
I would motion to not have a meeting on July 2nd. Anyone wants to second that?
Second.
And then, okay, and then I would think maybe in August we'll have another update with the Arboretum to share with anything new that's come along. All right, so Arboretum meeting, July 2nd. The North,
Can I throw one question out regarding the Arboretum meeting that
Yep.
we're gonna have? Does the architect have a specific format that they want us to submit the questions or concerns in? Because sometimes the design group would like to see them in a certain format so that they're easily incorporated into any comments that they get from other reviewers. Have they given you anything like that?
if we we just marked up a bunch of PDFs, I guess, is how we
Okay.
did ours. You guys haven't had like, what's been shared with y'all? Like,
Just the 60%.
yeah. And so, do you think you're wanting to submit comments prior to the meeting or just at the meeting?
They were sent out to all the committee members, so they'll have 2 weeks to review them,
Oh, the whole thing?
the 60%.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Well, I'm assuming it's the whole thing. We got 12 drawings. It seems kind of light for a 60%.
Probably just the landscape drawings then, yeah, the plantings, yeah. Okay,
So I'll ask for comments back to see if I can have them collected by the time we meet prior to our joint meeting.
right.
So I just wanted to have a format that was familiar to them if they had one.
Marked up PDFs or, that's probably the best.
Okay.
Yep. The Trail Gap, the North Trail project. I think we got an update that the signal housing and stuff's not gonna come until like August now, so. You can see the arms laying on the ground next to the trail, the big mast arm. I think they're gonna do some caissons and stuff in the ground, but I don't think we're gonna have like a signal until August, technically. The one that goes across First Parkway, so that's what's going on with that. Like, we're good rains, we're getting some grass popping up there, so it's like the first time that's ever happened, seeding and then rain. The project, it feels like, so.
It's been a lucky year, yeah.
So hopefully we get some, it's not just dirt, and the amount of people that actually drive out off the shoulder, if you look, where the trail went in, the number of cars that drive into that mud and drive out of it, I don't know what's going on, what they're doing, why they're stopping, but it's a lot.
Yeah, after you mentioned that, I went for a run over there like the following day, and it was very interesting.
Yeah,
'Cause that's some thick mud too.
yeah.
They're stopping to take pictures of Long's Peak. I've seen 2 people do that so far.
Bad spot. They need to, I'm not suggesting this, but the overpass over 287 is a great solid road to stop on. All right, that's all I have.
Committee updates, Audrey?
We're on summer break. We don't know if we're doing birthday days or not, but I think we are. We lost Zoe because now she's going off to college. So that's a little sad.
And you can talk about your,
Youth conference.
the summit?
It was pretty good. We didn't have as many people show up as we thought because I think like the what are they called? The committees that we thought were gonna show up showed up, but like individuals dropped out and were like, I'm busy or like I got sick, and so some people didn't show up. But it was overall really good. We had some fun activities and we got to talk a lot like about what those people do during their year and like how they like contribute to their town. And so it was really nice to like grow from that, and we're hoping to like either keep it and keep hosting or pass it off to somebody else to host. So yeah.
I don't have anything. Hannah?
Yeah.
Clark?
Nothing.
Well, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll motion. Oh, it's still sunny outside.
Yeah, we did it. We made it.
Yeah, we'll see y'all in August, I think. Unless something gets thrown out and I'm like, hey, we're,
Just the regular first week of August.
yep,